I said build. Well, hello, Glue Troopers. Max of Max's Models here. And last night, after I'd wrapped everything up, I decided to take a quick look at this Tamiya 1/35th scale Universal Carrier Mark II, what a lot of folks also call a Bren gun carrier, which was kind of Britain's answer to the American Jeep, and a very fine vehicle from everything I understand. It was extremely highly thought of, very, very flexible, and they used it for everything, just like the Americans did with the Jeep. And as a tracked vehicle, of course, I'm going to guess it was a little more maintenance intensive, but by all accounts that I've read, it was actually a very, very reliable, very well thought of piece of machinery, and fairly ubiquitous. And you'll notice, yes, it's British, but it has an American star because I imagine that one's probably set up like around D-Day. A lot of British vehicles were marked with American stars to prevent fratricide, shooting at each other by mistake. It was a good idea, and the big white star was pretty easy for everyone to see, unfortunately, including the enemy gunners. But it is what it is. So I was just going to take a look at it, maybe snap a couple of pictures and make it today's build. And I, pull out the instruction sheet, and it's a very, like Tamiya kits, it's got a gazillion little parts, got every detail you can imagine on it. And while I was fitting the parts, I figured, well, the glue's right here, I'll just get a little head start. And next thing I know, I was midnight or later, and I'm elbow deep in putting this thing together, and it just starts going together so easily, and it's almost like a little addiction, what was that old Lay's potato chip commercial? You can't eat just one, So anyway, I put the thing mostly together. I couldn't do a lot of things because it has to be painted. And this does have the black rubber around the wheels, so I didn't want to start putting the tracks on and everything. It has vinyl tracks. And it, unlike the Stalin and some of the other Tamiya kits I built, this one actually had a few little issues with the instructions and with a couple of pieces on fit. But I chalked that up more to this vehicle's very unusual shape. The biggest problem I would say I had with the fit was on the top front plate, the armor piece there. I guess you call it the glacis. It's a one-piece unit. It's got some odd shapes to it, which it has to have to fit into place, and getting both ends to sit down and seal was a little tricky. I did move a little fast on it, so I think the glue wasn't completely hardened, and a few things might have drifted a little bit after I assembled them. But it's midnight, and you're like, build, and I think I'm turning into a Twilight Zone character. But it's a great little kit, ton of detail. The thing that gave me the most trouble was this rear end piece. The instructions weren't super clear on which way these pieces were supposed to go, but the pictures on the side of the box cleared that up for me. It's some sort of elevated extended bumper where they could mount equipment and everything. I didn't get started on any of the figures. There's still a lot of little pieces that aren't on there. Same with the Stalin, the JS2, because I want to get it painted first. By the way, speaking of which, some folks noted I had just posed the JS2 for some quick pictures by putting the top on over the chassis, and I'd flipped it around backwards. The JS2 has a rear sprocket drive, rear wheel drive, so that idler wheel's up front, and that's okay. So guys, thanks for that, because you could actually put it on backwards and it would pretty much fit, so that's something to be alert to. So the Mark II was I think the more ubiquitous model of the Universal Carrier, and it's a weird little vehicle, but if it's weird and it works, it's not weird. It's great. It's very, they call it the Universal Carrier because it could carry anything, and it's universally well thought of. And I think this kit is as fine of a representation as you can make. The level of detail comes with the radio. Of course, you don't have to put everything in it the way they do it. They've got extra stuff, tarps and radios and things that I'm sure they didn't all have. But it's nice to have those parts in there as an option. I went ahead and stuck them in. But it'll look good on the shelf when I'm done. And I just really not a whole lot to report about it. So since I got it this morning, I was like, well, that's great. So I I did today's build last night. And trust me, you get locked in the styrene dungeon, you're going to build models. I've really got to slow down. Thing is that normally out in the Tarbis, I have multiple tables. So I have, okay, this is my stop point. While that hardens, I'll go work on something else. And here, there's pretty much just my desk and my computer table. And so I kind of just, no place to put this stuff. I'll just keep going. I know, bad model discipline. But I did drag out a couple more for today. I got this Tamiya 75 millimeter pack howitzer, American pack howitzer. And I didn't realize that's a metal kit, so trying to drag out the CA glue. I also got the German 75 millimeter towed anti-tank gun over on the desk. So maybe I'll work on these today, or maybe I'll just watch YouTube. I don't know. We'll see. So one thing is that, when you're building out of boredom, probably not doing your best work, but still a little stuffed up, still a little congested, and my eyesight's still a little blurry, so it's a little hard to get the details. Kind of things you really need when you're building models. But it's helping me to pass the time, and it's keeping me occupied and keeping me happy. So that's where I am at with that. At the moment, I think we will probably be able to do a live stream this Saturday night. I seem to be getting better, although definitely not well yet. Still in isolation, but I think I'm over the hump. So, guys, we will talk at you later. And I got a stack of boxes here, stuff that's going to go out to the shed to get painted. I actually, one of the reasons I think I'm building armor vehicles here is they just occupy less space. You build these airplanes, and great, where am I going to put this Gigantor thing? So, and as we've discussed before, armor helps you hide the mistakes. Take care of yourselves, guys. And as always, model on. Now, back to the styrene dungeon.
Hold her there. I get my shirt.
Come on! We're there!